Every year on this Sunday, Christ the King Sunday, where we celebrate the kingship, the lordship of Jesus, I think it's fitting to look at the differences with how a king looks. You know, as we look at the kings of today and the kings of the past, when you think of a king, you think of these nice lordly robes, these kingly robes, big flowing, maybe a crown of gold, surrounded by people doing everything you wish them to, surrounded by powerful people that will hand out all your commands. But that's not the story we get today. No, instead, Jesus isn't clothed. He's been stripped naked. He's not sitting on a throne. He's hanging from a cross, slowly dying. He's not given a crown of gold. He's given a crown of thorns. Instead of being surrounded by rulers and principalities and all of these things, he's got a criminal, one on his left and one on his right. People aren't shouting, "Long live the king," like they might for a king of the past. Instead, they're mocking him, shouting, "Behold, this is the King of Israel." Ooh. This is certainly not how we view kingship and power in our world today for any of our rulers, and yet the truth for the Christian church, the truth of the gospel is that the guy who is meek and hanging from the cross is showing much more power than anyone could ever understand. The disciples didn't understand it. That's why they fled the scene of the crime so they wouldn't get hurt. The women there who were supporting Jesus kind of understood it, but not really, because they were at the bottom of the cross weeping because he was about to die. And then even one of the criminals joins the soldiers in mocking him, saying, "If you're the Messiah, why don't you save yourself? Save me, save yourself. Save me, and save yourself." So it's just amazing. The story we get today, who's the one who fully understands who Jesus is? It's a criminal. Being rightly condemned for his punishment, for at that time was capital, was to death. Defending Jesus, saying, "Hey, we've lived in sin, we've done the wrong things. There's a reason we're hanging on this cross, but this person has done no wrong. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." The one who notices the kingship of Christ. The kingship we celebrate today on Christ the King Sunday, it's not the disciple that's been there the whole time. It's the criminal who's just had a glimpse of who Jesus is, and Jesus assures him, "Today you will be with me in paradise." And it was Jesus, the King of Kings. He doesn't make peace the same way other kings do, with a strong army to keep the peace, or a strong bit of law enforcement to keep the peace. Instead, he makes true peace. What does it say in Colossians? By the blood of the cross. It was Jesus, the King of Kings, who makes true peace for us with God by the blood of that cross. It is because of that blood and by that blood that we are made clean before God. It is by that blood that we are known, that we are forgiven because of Jesus. And it is by that blood that we can have hope and peace of mind that Jesus, our King of Kings, is with us not only today, but he reigns with us forever. That is the greatness of Jesus, the King of Kings. He can offer us what no other politician, what no other government, what no other human being on earth can offer us, and that's life eternal. So, on Christ the King Sunday, I think it's important that we remember to live for the King. That we remember to live for Jesus, because we do live in the kingdom of God today here on earth, along with living in our own earth today. And with living in the kingdom, there's different roles. Back in the feudal system, you had serfs who were the peasants. They didn't actually make money. They were just owned to the land, and they trusted that the ruler would provide them with the bread they need as they work and tilled the land. There were knights who were meant to protect and be part of the army. And there were the other smaller rulers who were in charge of, I'm going to get this area so that we know this whole area is taken care of. And it's funny that as a Christian, we play all three of those roles in the kingdom of God. Martin Luther's dying words were, in the end, we're all beggars. Now, he is a man who had done really great things. He'd written many books. He started a whole movement we call the Reformation. And yet, his dying words are, in the end, we're all beggars. Because no matter what achievement he did, he understood that the true thing that we need, life, is something that we cannot earn. It's something we cannot keep. But instead, it's something that Jesus Christ gives for us willingly. And so that's why we come. We act like serfs in worship when we come and receive communion with our hands stretched out. We receive communion. We don't take it as a signal that we are receiving the body and blood of Christ. We're receiving the love of God because we can't get it for ourselves. That's kind of how we're serfs in the kingdom of God. The true life we have to trust in our good Lord to give us. I think as members of the kingdom of God, we are called to be knights in a way. Not in a way where we go out into the world trying to attack and kill, but as protectors, defenders. Not only defenders of the love of God, defenders of the truth of Jesus Christ, but defenders of God's beloved people and creation. We're called to defend those in need, to help out those who need help, and to let them know that the love of God is there protecting them. That's who sends us out as knights of the kingdom of God. And although it seems weird that we would also be considered serfs and rulers, it is very true that we are rulers. Rulers are given some sort of power, and we do have a power, the power of the Spirit within us that lets us know that the love of God works in and through us for other people. The other thing about rulers is they're a symbol for the bigger kingdom. We know we need a person, so this king is the symbol for England. This king is the symbol for this part of Germany. They're all symbols, and so it's a reminder as rulers in the kingdom of God that we are a symbol of Jesus Christ on earth today. We are a symbol of the church. We are a symbol of God's love. And that should mean something. It means when I go out, perhaps I need to be more mindful of how I interact with other people. If I'm a jerk to somebody, and they know I come to Augustana Lutheran Church, what does that tell them about the kind of people that come to Augustana Lutheran Church? Every interaction is an opportunity as a ruler to show that Jesus Christ is the kingdom of God and His love is what will reign. And I bring this all to then, if we're talking about the kingdom of God, Augustana Lutheran Church is a castle. It's one of the many castles in the kingdom of God. Heck, I know a few castles that way, a few castles that way, but it's a castle in the kingdom, in God's kingdom, and it's called to live for the King. The sign that a church, a castle, the kingdom of God is doing well because it lives for the King. It serves those in need. It provides an opportunity for worship, which is what we try to do here at Augustana Evangelical Lutheran Church. Heck, in the summers we started a midweek service because in the summers weekends just get crazy, and so we offered up another chance for people to worship God just like we're doing here today. We set up an endowment so that we could have something accruing money and take that money to help those in need, not just for our building, but to actually help people in our community, to set up our Good Samaritan Fund, which if someone's lights are going to go out and they don't get their paycheck for another 2 weeks, they can message us and we can write them a check so they can keep their lights on, so they can keep their head above water. We also try to give money to God's mission out in the world, to the bigger church. Things like to help with world hunger, with disease. We've adopted a family in Cambridge to help them out because you know what? They're trying their hardest to live this life and it seems like they keep getting full stops ahead of them. And so we're here to just help them experience life in the love of God. This castle that we're worshiping here today serves God, lives for God, exists for God, and it doesn't exist without all of us here today. It doesn't exist without its serfs, its knights, its rulers. And so that's the point of Thanksgiving, is Thanksgiving, our stewardship drive. We don't, as a church, we don't ask you, hey, give us money so we can just exist. No. A stewardship drive, we ask for the gifts of the people, not just monetary, but your very bodies, your time, your talents, because it is by the time and talents and monies that this castle can serve God and serve this community. And for that, I'm thankful that it still can today. The great part about living in thanksgiving to God, about being a member of the kingdom of God, is we know about the King of Kings' reign. We know about Christ's reign. Christ's reign of love does not end. And it is much greater than anything we can truly understand. It's the love that he showed on the cross. Christ's reign of peace is an eternal promise of hope that we will get peace. That all the crap that happens in life, we will get peace someday when Christ returns. We do have this promise of actual peace. And the great part about being part of the kingdom of God, of being a member in the kingdom of God, is that we know that Christ's reign of life is eternal. Not only is Christ eternal, but his reign of life in us is eternal. And so for that, I invite each and every one of us to think about how we can serve the King in our time today. How can we serve the King of Kings in our lives? Who needs our help? Or do we need God's help today? Happy Christ the King Sunday. Long live the King. Amen.